All right. Story time. Let's talk about it. Okay, let me tell y'all about my cousin's 21st birthday and how we went to the club, took her to the club for the first time. That night ended up going miserably wrong. Okay, cool. All right, so me and my wife, we have cousins, we were my wife's side of the family, her uncle's daughter, which is our cousin, ended up having a 21st birthday, right? And she was having a dinner. So we basically made sure that we packed up, and that weekend we went to Georgia and where they reside, and uh we went there, and we met at their house, and then we went to the dinner, right? We went to a dinner. It was a nice little restaurant, nice restaurant. And we ate dinner. Everything was cool, right? I mean, everything from the food to the cake, and then so on and so forth. Well, you know, uh, so my cousin, our cousin, was talking about. So, yeah, we finna go to the club tonight. Club. My wife said, okay, yeah, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? My wife's a sweetie pie, so she ended up, she ended up, helping. She was ended up helping like get our table and stuff situated, everything. So, even some bottles, some hookahs, whatever they needed, for them to have a good time. So it was cool, right? We ended up getting to the club. Let me tell y'all, it was first off, in Atlanta, right? This club was in downtown Atlanta. Let's start there. So in downtown Atlanta, it's busy. It's busy, it's packed, and everybody got situations going on, right? So, first off, this club was it was like in a half, it was like in a little establishment with a like half of it was a car wash, but half of it wasn't. It was a club. So it was like it had when you walked there, it was like legit the club area, the dance floor or the sectionals area, and then you go past, it's the bar, then it's the bathrooms, right? All right. So we get there, it's starting to get cramped, it's starting to get wild, right? It was cooling, we was having a good time, music bumping, whatever, and they getting in. So but let me back it up. So and when Atlanta is busy, parking is a big thing. And we all know how parking can be a nuisance when you are in a busy city, especially in Atlanta. So, um, my cousin had all her friends in her car, whatever, and she ended up parking across the street because there was a guy in a jacket, right? There was a guy in a jacket, and you pay for the people, to park wherever. So you parked over there. Then, then you park and then me and my wife and some of our other family members, we parked on another side of um we parked on the other side of the street. Okay, so cool. Keep those in mind. Keep those in mind. So then we go into the club, right? We wait because the girls got an expedited line, but the men had to go through like all the deep searches and stuff for obvious reasons because people don't want to have a gun in GTA in the club, right? Nobody wants that happening, right? Nobody wants anything where you bring in illegal substances or your own things, type stuff, right? Type stuff. So we in there, and so we get settled. We got our sections, whatever. It's so neat in mind. It's a whole family. It's me and my wife, my our auntie, uncle, our other cousins, and his wife. Our other cousins, and they're married. Um, her friends. other cousin, our other cousins, my wife's cousins, other women cousins, and then who else? So out of totality, it was only like probably three guys. It was three guys. So they have a club right by a gas station. Yes, they do. And actually, you know what's funny, Obliv? This club was by a gas station and across the street from like a another bar. So right, we in the club, we doing, it's getting, they playing all the bops, they playing all the ushers, yeah, yeah, on top of just all of the things, right, bro? I just kid you not, bro. My cousin, the one that was turning 21, started getting lit. Her and her friends, and they're over there just having a good time, bro. They were getting so drunk. They were getting drunk, and it was like they were dancing in slow motion. So imagine people twerking in slow motion, right? And I told them how they were. They really didn't believe me when I explained it to them. So I said, "This is how y'all look. Look." So imagine, right? Imagine. So the sectional is like a four. It's like a square. The way I'm looking at it is the way I'm looking like at the section. All right. So you'll see it's like it's kind of small. You got this table in the middle, and then you got people sitting here, and then people sitting like on the back thing or whatever. And they up there, and they like, oh my god, and they just like, yeah, yeah. What the fuck is going on? What are y'all doing? Look, look, look. Look, I was like, what are you doing? I said, bro, I ain't never seen nobody dance drunk in slow motion. I mean, in the way they was doing it too. It was so funny. So right, they ended up they dancing, having a good time. And so the club started getting super packed. So, and especially after a certain time, that's when all the Negroes show up. Right? That's when all people started showing up. I'm talking about it was people. I'm talking about people all the way packed from the front to the back. Still a cool time though. You know what I'm saying? Still, it was still a cool. Everybody vibe, right? So then, we vibing. So our other cousin, him and his wife, right? They there. They having a good time. And so my other cousin is a very beautiful woman, right? Very beautiful woman. So there was this guy sitting behind her or next to her and was looking at her, lusting. I'm talking about lusting. And I'm sitting here looking at him, looking at her. And then my uncle on the other side looking at me, looking at him while we looking at each other, making sure we looking at her to protect her. Right. And then he over there asking, like, what's her name and stuff. And then she was over here looking like, and still kept hanging with her, our cousins and stuff, right? It was cool. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was fine. But then, I was sitting there and he was getting a little too close. If you feel what I'm saying. And I don't know what it is about certain dudes, especially when they feel like they see a woman they really find attractive. They like to get touchy feely. They like to get really touchy feely. And it's weird. Right? And we over here looking at him like, okay, and he looking like he just want to just touch. So we looking at, I'm like, bro, I'm standing there, I'm looking at him just to make sure he know, like, we looking, but he ain't end up doing nothing, right? But that's be the scary part. See, I don't know. Sometimes women, right, y'all, women are phenomenal people, and and I don't know how y'all deal with that sometimes, where there's people that just really like are weird like that. They're weird. They're really weird, you know? And especially men who are horn dogs, they really get so disgustingly weird about like boundaries. I'm a guy, and some men are weird. I mean, I'm a guy telling you, I'm witnessing a weird man. And so we all just like, okay. We all just like, okay. So, but kudos to him. He didn't, he didn't, you know what I'm saying? He didn't try anything crazy, right? So, all right. So, man, we get back to the club and everything cool, and she smoking hookahs, whatever the freak. Everybody just chilling, having a vibe. Just chilling. We there. We just having cool. I'm over here dancing, doing my jig, and just having a great time. Then comes the end of it. They flick on the lights and they're like, "All right, clubs closed down. We finna get ready. You know what I'm saying? We gotta, we shutting down for the night. Cool." My cousin still drunk. The one that's 21. Her friends had a great time. She tried to sneak a bottle out the freaking. She tried to sneak a bottle out the club. Like, girl, am I gonna get caught? She asked me. She said, "Am I gonna get caught?" I was like, "Well, if you're trying to do that, just make it seem like you don't have nothing. Like, put it in your purse. You know what I'm saying? Make it look like you ain't got nothing, right?" And these were basically bottles that we purchased for them. Whatever. So so we get outside. Oh, first off, she tries to get through the thing, and they basically was just like, "Yeah, nah, you can't take that," and they snatch it from her. She's like, "Oh man, swiping, no swiping, swiping, no swiping," type thing, right? So, then, right, this is where it becomes more of a difficult situation. So we getting out of the club. I mean, people just basically getting out, whatever. So remember what I told you where we parked, right? So our car on the other side, on one side, her car on the other side. So she is walking over the street. Her and her friends drunk. They just walking. They walking across the street. Just walking. Just walking. Right? She legit, it was like she legit sobered up in like 3 seconds. He was like, "My car is gone." So not only her car was going, everybody from the club who parked on that section's car was gone. Chat. They got towed, chat. In the span of the hour or 2 hours we were there, or whatever the free, however long we were there, all the cars got towed. So, chat, we're like, what? We're like, what? How your car get towed? So we find out the dude who took the money for the ticket was a scammer. Was a scammer. He took that money. Hey, guess what? Guess what? He spent that. He spent it. Spent it. He spent it. He spent it. Okay, because ain't no way. I'm talking about dude look like Mama Tiff. What's going on? Welcome in. Look, dude looked like he was one of the other guys. They paid him the money to park just for them to get towed. And I'm talking about, then we over there and we seeing the car, we seeing the tow trucks are moving. I'm talking about moving easy. Like they moving so fast, like they come there and they getting these cars, picking them up and taking them. I'm like, what the fluff? What do you mean? So then we come over there. Yo, what's up, butterfly? So we coming over there. We went over there. I'm like, all right, all right, all right. Cause they were, they was over there tripping. I said, I need y'all. And it's like, this is when dad mode kicked in for me, right? I was like, I need y'all to come here, like right now. I need y'all to hurry up. Hurry up. And they all like scurried across the street because I'm over here like, all right, we need to think, right? So then, or no, 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 no. I told them, I said, y'all stay over there. And then my other cousins, that's what I messed it up. So they over across the street worry. I said, y'all stay there. I said, other cousins, I said, y'all, listen to me. Let's roll. Right? Let's roll. And I said, come on, come on, come on. And some of them were a little drunk. You know what I'm saying? And then one of the cousins stopped me and she said, wait, wait, wait. I just want to say this. I was like, what's up? Um, you know what I'm saying? She stopped me and she said, I just want to tell you that, man, you're such a good man. She said, I feel it from, people, some people say vibes or whatever, but she was like, you just have such a good energy, a good vibe about you. It's like, you're a really good man, which I always claim it to be the Holy Spirit, right? I always claim it to be God, right? And yeah, Obliv, this is something the locals knew about it because they baited the randoms because they trying to make money. At the end of the day, they're just trying to make money. They don't care how they make it. They're scamming. But she said, "Oh, I said, thank you. I'm really trying. I really, just I appreciate that, right?" But then I said, "Let's roll." So we all go over there. So my wife pulls our car, and she pulls it to over there just so we could see like what the freak's going on. So then we're sitting there trying to figure out what to do. We call her dad, which is our uncle, right? Our uncle, and we're like, "Hey, this happened. We trying to figure this out." So they couldn't get the car to in the morning. And we're trying to figure out like how we gonna all do this, right? How we gonna all fit in this? Thankfully, we had an SUV. Me and my wife, we own an SUV. Cool, you know what I'm saying. So we kind of crammed people in there. We had another car too that parked over there with us. So it was like, hey, we was all good. We had enough. We had vehicles to kind of make it work, and we did. So then, but as my before all of that, my wife parked there just so we can, you know what I'm saying, get to just so we can try to figure out something. Here comes the freaking here comes the guy with the tow truck pulling up to try to get my wife's car. My wife said, "Oh no, you not." She ran there and got in the car and drove off. I said, "You not about to do me like this on me." See, this is why I love my wife. That's why I love my wife because my wife is so she's gangster for real. She's so gangster. I love her. I be so happy. I be so happy because she quick response too. She's a quick responder. Um, she was like, "Oh no, you not." And I said, "All right, everybody, let's roll. Get in the car and let's go." And we all got in the car, and we ended up getting, we ended up getting back to my uncle's crib, which where a lot of our family hosted and stuff. It was fun. It was fun. But hey, listen, I just want to say, at the end of it, y'all, whenever you in Atlanta, more of the story is never trust anybody to park your car or, to never trust anybody to freaking, you know, park your situation. If you don't see an official sign, don't freaking go. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's pretty much it. W story time. That's all I have. But it was funny as crap though.